Oh shoot!
Yeah. So what's
So
going on with
everything
y'all?
good, man?
Man, as good as it's gonna get, man. Good
How
as
you
it's gonna
doing, Ron?
Man, look, hey, we making it day by day.
man.
That's all you can
So
do. That's all
all
you
you
can
can
do.
I just want to say off the bat, man, like I said, I appreciate both of you brothers because, like I said, y'all express yourself. Y'all out there, you're putting out, truth. You know what I'm saying? Not only
man.
truth, but just content. Just by expressing yourself, you putting out things that people think about, and that's what we need out there. We need thinking brothers. We need brothers out there, raising the consciousness of each other and putting things out there for people to they gotta talk about it if they see it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I appreciate that,
Yeah.
man.
That's what
Yeah,
y'all
I
doing.
appreciate it
That's
so
what y'all
much.
doing.
Yeah.
I'm just a little country boy from Smithville
Hey, that's all of us.
trying to make
All of
some
us.
noise, man. That's
It's
all.
in the
That's
water.
it.
It's in the water.
That's it, man. I came up with this topic because Cam Newton was getting all kinds of hell off of what he said, and I thought it was like unfair.
Like enlighten me of what Cam said.
Well, Cam was describing what a traditional what's a traditional woman, what he grew up seeing with a mother and a father in the house.
Okay.
And so off the bat, as soon as somebody hear the truth of what a traditional woman is, then they have a problem with it. They hear one word, get women mad. One word, and
Well,
that's
people
submit,
are so sensitive
submissive.
and
So I'm like,
interesting, man. They interesting.
it really drives me crazy. It's like they don't turn submission into slavery. Like
Yeah.
it's that's what we trying to say. That's not what nobody meant. But I think and they taking their cues from, and I'll say it off the top, the worst person in this world, worse than a racist, is a white feminist. And I'll explain.
Okay. Okay.
A white a racist don't like nobody, man or woman of color.
Right. Right.
A
Right.
white feminist can turn a woman of color against her own man.
You remember we talked about that a long time ago. They did that in the 70s.
You,
Remember that during that when they
yeah,
tried to push the black man out the home.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And so me growing up, with a mom and dad, two-parent household, I seen it.
Yeah.
I seen the
Yeah.
good, I seen the bad.
Right.
You
Right.
know, um, was it always rosy in the house? No,
Nah.
no. But I've seen the where they didn't give up,
Yeah.
where they didn't give up.
That's
I also
that it is right
seen
there. That's what it
now.
is.
I think the biggest problem now is everybody knows about everybody's marriage, everything that's going on
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah. But that goes to show you how social media come into play too. I feel like that you don't have to post every damn thing, man. You can tell. You can almost tell. You know how it is. You can almost tell when certain people, as far as couples, somebody is mad at somebody because one of them, the wife, might post some subliminal messages, so you automatically know, oh shit, they over there.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's just, man, everybody. I feel like that. Yeah, everybody put too much of their business out in the street. Um, I feel like that there are some issues that need to be addressed. Yes, but as far as just putting your every move and what you eat and where you go and all of that stuff, man, you ain't gotta do all that. Man. You ain't gotta do all that.
what you think, Ron?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, brothers. Like I said, I think it's a social media is the friend that you didn't have before. You know,
True.
you know what I'm saying? You always had that friend when you was growing up that you could talk to. You know what I'm saying? That you could tell everything to. And then a lot of people these days don't have that friend. So that social media is that friend now where you can just lash out, you know, get it out and not have to worry about something coming back on you as far as somebody telling you you're wrong or whatever. Most people ain't gonna do that when you put a post like that. Uh People have to be choosy about what they put on social media. You have to be, because you can expose too much. You know, you allow, you know, other people's opportunity to come into, and like I said, you said the bedroom and all that stuff. The bedroom should be undefiled. Nobody should know what happens inside your own bedroom.
Yep.
Except you and that other person. That's it. And when people bring other people into that bedroom, even by just talking about it, that's where you bring all the danger. That's where the danger comes in.
Yeah, because I done seen it where, and this is so dangerous. You could put something on there, and next thing you know, somebody's in your inbox. A female is in your inbox trying to say something. How you doing? What's wrong? That wasn't this kind of post.
Right.
It's a cuckoo call for trouble.
Yeah, it is. It is. Because now you setting everything up to, okay, now they having problems.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I was boy, they better be lucky we didn't have social media back in the day. It would be none of these kids would be born right now. None.
No, sir.
It'd be so many damn fights.
It'd be so many dead people.
Yeah.
In jail.
That's real tough.
You know, but like you're saying, we put too much. Just too much totally out there. Because honestly, I think people hate relationships. They hate people in relationships.
Well, they don't want to see. I feel like sometimes it's people don't. Everybody is not for you. Everybody is not for your well being. And if you out there putting too much business, man, it just is what it is. There's people out there that's jealous. There's people out there that they wish they had what you had, and 9 times out of 10, man, you don't even know what the hell is going on behind them closed doors. So I don't wish that I won't have had a relationship like I see Black Love, or you be like, man, I wish I had a relationship like Will and Jada. And nigga, you see what's going on behind they closed doors. I want this, I want that, and you just don't know what's going on behind people's closed doors. And people with social media will also dress their lives up to where, man, it's just spectacular. Yeah. But it's a living hell behind them closed doors. I mean, it's just, man.
Yeah, we don't. And me, like, if I get with a group of guys, now see, I'm gonna show you real friends. Ronnie was there for me when I was going through all my stuff before my divorce and everything. He was right there. And a real friend never picked sides. He never picked sides. He was telling me about what my actions should be, what I should do, you know, not like leave it, all this kind of stuff. Talk, counsel. You know, that's a person that want to see your relationship get strong. I can't stand when a person comes straight out and say, well, I wouldn't do that. I would leave. Well, okay, well, we understand you done had 5 people in the last 5 months.
Right.
But we know your track record. I mean, that's not help because you know you have to work it out. And when you have people there to help you work it out, you know, and talk, yes, we had to get a divorce, but you know, I did my part. You know, I did my part and I can live with it. And I'm a better person for it because I took what I learned to my next relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And speaking of, you know, being a traditional, uh, I don't, I don't think I'm not saying I've never seen my mama a slave to my dad.
Yeah.
I don't understand why women are getting mad about fixing plates for being now. That's okay. You mad because you got to fix a plate? Okay, well, so that's like a man being mad to have to change his wife's tire.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like the things that a man once told me. He said, Joe, be careful of who you meet that didn't grow up like you. See, some people didn't grow up with strong men in their lives. Women ran everything.
Mhm.
So they carry that. And is it their fault? No, they just doing what they seen. So when you put your foot down, you all of a sudden turn the right turn.
All
And
right.
that's not even it. You
Right.
know, um, we all have our roles
Yeah.
in the house. Cam said a woman should know when to be quiet. She should. My dad was the foundation. What he said at the end of the day went.
Mhm.
It was no arguing about it.
Mhm.
Now, if mama disagreed, I wouldn't know because they wouldn't do that in front of us.
Right.
They
Dude, I
would
ain't never seen my people argue. I
they'll
think
go in the room.
out of my whole
Yeah,
childhood, man, maybe once. But you didn't see that a lot back
you
in the
know,
day.
and I break it down like, and it's just this simple. When you want to go somewhere, you go to your mama first. She'll say, "Go ask your daddy."
Mhm.
Now, before that, if she say no, that's the end of the conversation. You better not even go to daddy.
Yeah.
But if you did, you run to daddy and you say, "Daddy, can I go here?" Well, what did your mama say? She said
You're
no.
right.
Well, then he'll say, "Well, why you asking me?"
Right.
And so now you fit to get slapped by her for
Right.
jumping over. Now, normally if you go in, she'll say, "Go ask your daddy." You go ask him. You got to be on point for everything.
Man.
And he still might say, "I'll think about it," or he might say no. Now, he say no, it ain't no why. Never had that. Now, if mama felt that he said no because he didn't understand something, later on that night when you're not around, they'll talk about it. And most of the times, sometimes he'll say, "Okay, tell the boy he can go or something." But if he says no, that's it. We're not talking about it. So that means, you know, mama step back. That's daddy. Find out the house. Be quiet. Daddy got it. He's like that with her. What did your mama say? You know what I'm saying? So it's the respect on both ends.
Right.
And I think that movies in the environment make women feel like that's being
Man.
a slave, a punk,
Man.
and it's not.
Man.
It's not. What it is that society has changed because there's so many single parents out there not teaching those kind of values.
Right.
Women are teaching their daughters to use what they have, looks or sex or whatever, to get and achieve what they want,
Yeah.
instead of teaching them the traditional things like our moms and stuff was taught by our grandmothers and great grandmothers about how to maintain a home, you
Right.
know, how to rear kids, how to cook, those kind of things.
Mhm.
It didn't went away from that. These young girls today, they don't know hardly none of that unless they were raised right. There's still some out there that was raised right, and they understand that submission, there's not anything wrong with submission if it's done in the proper way. If a man is walking the way he's supposed to, a woman's going to want to submit under him,
Right.
Mhm.
because he's going to respect her, to respect her word, because if she's your third eye, she's going to see things that you can't see.
There it is.
So you respect her word, And everybody knows, yeah, she understands that his word is the end, but he's
Mhm.
gonna always respect her counsel
Mhm.
and everything that she says. And he knows that no matter what, in all of our families, I'm pretty sure, yeah, we had matriarchs and patriarchs. We had grandfathers and grandmothers and all that, but we always had that matriarch
Right.
that basically ran everything.
Mhm.
Now, she submitted to whatever her grandfather or whatever, she submitted to him. But everybody knew grandma was in charge. Didn't nobody cross grandma, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
but when grandpa said something, who stepped back? Grandma.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That's honor. Bringing
Mhm.
your man a plate, that's honor. That ain't submitting, that ain't slavery. That's honor. And if you love him enough, you're gonna honor him in that way. You know what I'm saying? But if you think that the word even says it, the word says that because of what Eve did, the woman is going to want the man's place. She's going to desire the man's place. She's going to desire to try and be the head of the home. And those that don't want to submit will do that. You know what I'm saying? We'll try and take a man's place. And sometimes it's our fault as men. We got so many men that have failed to do what they're supposed to do. Women have to step up and do both roles.
Mhm.
So they're walking around like a man because they have to hold themselves to a man because they don't have a man around because say that man didn't abandon them, and now they gotta fulfill both roles. You know what I'm saying? But no, if they was taught right, they would learn and know that there's nothing wrong with submission. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a honor. It's a point of honor to know that you found a man good enough that you can submit to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And know that there's nothing wrong with. He never treats us something below him. He's never going to treat
No.
us something as less. In fact, he treats he worships the ground she walks on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And
Turn and honor him.
that's why all the women, our big mamas and stuff, that's why when grandpa and them died, they left them with Cadillacs and stuff. For real. They left them with good stuff. And what did grandpa say when he left? Don't give them kids nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, don't give them
Nothing. Don't give them nothing. You earned this, not them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I hear you, Ron. And that's real. And like you said, we got to do our part.
Right.
We got to do our part because you got what they say. You got to treat your wife like God treats the church like
Yeah.
You got to do that.
Love your wife like God loved the church.
Exactly. That's unconditional.
Mm-hmm.
And that is on us. But that also goes back to where the traditional family failed at. I mean, to have a traditional man and woman, you have to have a strong traditional family.
Right.
They don't want that no more.
They don't want that no more.
There's still people that want it. It's just not enough people that want it.
Right.
I believe that entertainment shows that they don't need it. Because when you see people walking around here, when you hear women say, "I don't need a man," I can do it by myself.
Hey, that's being ignorant. And ignorance is what? Lack of information. That's all that is. That's a woman who was raised probably in a single parent home that didn't have a man around. And what she did is she was fed all that stuff by her mom or maybe her aunts or whoever that have been in positions where they've been abandoned by men. And if the mom is single and she's sitting around saying she don't need a man, then it's gonna feed into that woman as a little girl, and when she grows up, she's gonna learn that she don't need a man.
Yeah, sometimes I think that that we as men we hurt these women so much that they become with that complex of it ain't gonna never happen again. So I'm this independent woman, and it's gonna always be that way. So I mean, I'm not gonna put all of it on the way that they was raised. I mean, some of it is relationship.
It's relationships too, but I think that what that is a lack of men. That's the men's problem of men not being raised right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They were raised not knowing how to be men. Here's a lot. We got a whole generation of men that was raised by women. They don't know how to be men.
No, you can And
They
you
don't know
can
how to do it.
tell.
You know why?
You
Because they
can
run away from stuff.
tell.
They run away from the first time they get some kind of adversity. They
Yep.
run away. They don't stand and face it. They don't stay and work on stuff. They just run off. And society makes it easy for them to run off. Where men of, our past, our fathers, our grandfathers, our great grandfathers, when they had issues, what did they do? They stood and faced them. You face your responsibilities, boy. You better go take care of your responsibility. That's your responsibility. And not only that, the whole society, the community, let them know that's your responsibility. They raised them to do that. You don't run away from your responsibilities. You stand and face it. But see, now these days they run away from it, and it's easy to run away from it, and it's destroyed. And you don't know if y'all notice this. For the most part, this is only happening in the Black community.
Oh yeah.
The Hispanic community is still intact. The Asian community is still intact. The white community is still intact. Now, the white community is not having as many kids as we are as the rest of the other communities, but those family units are still intact. Unlike the Black community, where single parent homes are the majority rather than the minority in the Black community.
So would you blame the situation on the woman running to the court system every time? I mean, what would you blame that on?
I told you a long time ago that I blamed it on way back women's lib, women's rights and all that, when they told the women, to empower themselves, and the way they could empower themselves was that if they needed assistance, if you needed food stamps or whatever, they need to get the Black men out the home. Black Panthers, they the ones that initiated WIC, helping communities. Those are Black men and Black women helping the community with single parents, but they didn't want the Black Panthers doing it. They wanted them to go to the government, and the only way they could go to the government was to get the Black man out of the home, get them out of the community, put them in jail, so they'd have to turn to the government. And the only way the government was going to accept them is if they were single mothers.
Man, no,
That's where it started.
Real talk. Because I mean, nowadays, even if you even try to start something, they want the name, address, and social. If you got it, just point it to the right damn direction.
Right.
Where we can find you.
Well, and that doesn't make sense. I think when we weaponize kids, that's the problem. Because I say it like this: it's some, but it's not a lot of men that would do anything to hurt their kids. Hurt them.
Right. Right.
If a woman say, "Well, okay, I tell you what," and I would like to see this done. If a judge would say, "I tell you what, y'all gonna get joint, both of you. You just pay the medical." I wonder if women would do that, or if somebody say, "Well, I can't afford this kid," woo woo woo, and if they look over at the man and say, "Well, can you afford this without this much money?" and he says, "Yeah," well, should the kid go to him? I mean, what makes a man not worthy enough to get joint custody on this kid? I mean,
dude,
I don't.
At the end of the day, I would rather have. I would rather. I mean, yeah, I get it takes finances to raise kids, but at the end of the damn day, man, if it was just the presence of the father, the presence of the mother, man, that's what all really matters, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I get it, the finance part of it, but damn, just spending time with kids can change a whole narrative of their life, man.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact. I mean, when I got because I had joint custody with my kids, and when they was with their mama, we handled it. We had to grow from where we was at, but we grew to be a team because we knew we had two opponents that was coming at us. Because kids, boy, they something else. They figure they can get, double Christmas. But
double birthday.
yeah, double birthdays and all that. But when you work together, because there's good dudes out there that's getting a shaft right now.
Man.
That's all they want, they kids. When I told the judge, I don't believe in visitation because I don't visit none that's mine. I work every day, haven't been to jail, do the right thing. Then you can't look at me as a bad parent. No, I don't want to see that. How can you always hear that? Let me say, they don't do enough. He don't do enough. Well, he can't do enough unless you let him do enough. Let him keep the child for a while. Let him know what you go through.
They don't do that.
Because once he knows what you go through, then he understands. Because yes, when I got joint custody and them little suckers start eating like crazy. When they went from Happy Meal to the number 7 at McDonald's,
Super size, man.
it got real.
Mm-hmm.
I get it now. I understand. But you have to let a man know. Now, I'm the kind of daddy that, if they got a temperature of 99.9, we're going to the emergency room. Instead of just giving them some Tylenol and some Motrin, but I learned. But I just think it could be better if they would teach that in school too.
Yeah.
Why don't they teach that? They can teach so much stuff, but they can't teach
that's a whole different beast because now they take it out. They actually don't even have to write in cursive no more. They can use calculators. It's just so much news that they've stopped.
They can use calculators.
Yeah.
Oh man, how damn me! I would have had a gold tassel then.
Oh my goodness, dude, that would have been valedictorian now. we had a show at work. You get the answer, they want you to show everything how you got it, everything. So yeah, they got it easy nowadays, but and some of the stuff, like I said, I remember home economics, stuff like that. Used to teach us how to cook. Used to teach us how to sew. Used to teach us how to write checks and stuff. They don't do that shit no more. They don't do that.
I think I was lucky enough to where I caught on enough with my mom and my grandmother and my aunts that when I had my kids, I did more raising than my wife did. I was there. I was the one that knew all the country remedies on how to break a fever and how to do this and fix that. She was just like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh, I know this, I can break that fever easy. I can do this. I take them here. And I vowed way early.
Yeah.
Because my father was the type of father that he provided financially. He was at the home. But when it came to things outside of the home, he wasn't available. He had other things to do.
Yeah.
So no school things, no sport things, none of that. He wasn't doing none of that because he had other things he wanted to do. Yeah. I vowed that when my kids grew up, I was going to be present in everything they did, which I was. Student council, I was student council presidents. I went up there to pop popcorn on Fridays. You know what I'm saying? I walked them to school, dropped them off at school later. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff to make sure I was there for every sporting event, every academic award, everything. They always saw me there. And because of that presence, it made a difference in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Where they knew I was always there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where I told them no amount of money would get me in a position to where I would be able, like I couldn't do an all rig job because it would take me away from my family for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, then bring me back. That means there'd be 3 weeks of stuff I miss. And that time is too precious when you miss something like that, because you never get it back.
No,
You know,
okay.
those things that happen with the kid on a daily basis, if they do it for the first time or whatever, you never get it back. Or that time when you need them, when they need you, and if you're not there, who are they gonna go to if
Yeah.
you're not there? They either gonna go to friends, they're gonna go to bad influences. You know what I'm saying? So it, it helps to be present.
It does. Cleo,
He dropped out.
he dropped out. He'll come back in. But I hear you, Ron. I mean, uh, outside of that, yeah, you taught your kids a lot. I know your kids. You know they cheat and Madden, but yeah, yeah. I'll never forget that. They're about to cheat this kid. Man, these kids was in elementary school cheating. Just, I said I would never play his kids again in nothing. Tiddlywinks, nothing. He ain't raised them but a bunch of old cheaters. But you know, but what you was saying, Ron, is like my dad. You know, you know, my dad didn't come to games and all that, and you know, he didn't have to tell me he loved me every day. You
No,
know, it's I had the old school dad.
right. That's what we did.
He gets up 4 in the morning, rain, sleet, snow, go to Tinker. Uh, he was the disciplinary person. You know what I'm saying? He walk in. Sometimes you just shake your head and be like, "Man, I'm fit to go in the back room," because you know he might be in there have an attitude that day.
Move,
Um,
move.
but you know he was the kind that you didn't want for nothing.
Yeah.
You didn't
Right.
want for nothing.
Right.
Now you may want that, but if he felt like you didn't need that, then you
Right.
wasn't gonna get that.
That's
You
right.
know, because I was oh, he wasn't spending no $100 on those shoes. That wasn't him. That wasn't in his system to do. Because, you know, he's the kind that I go to work, you don't.
Hey,
And, you know, and that's not a bad thing.
Right.
You know, um, do I think it bothered me? Nah, I don't. You know, growing up, because now I know how to handle my kids. Because I do the same thing that you do. I handle them different. You know, I always make sure that I tell them I love them every day. You know, I tell them I love them. I uh, I give them things. You know, I'm there for sports, but that other side of me can click real quick, and I become my daddy. And if if I have to go in ham on you, I'm going in on you. You know, I brought you in this world. I take you out. So it's that's that's the upbringing I had, you know, and I think that's most cats out in the country, you know.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's I mean that's us. That's I think that's why we all so close because we all grew up like
Yeah.
that, you know. Even the cats that didn't have a father in the house, they had grandpa. You had grandma and
Right.
grandpa. You
Right.
know the guys that was raised by grandma and grandpa,
Right.
and you know, and they just showed us, you know, made us hard, you know. Nowadays, you could just you could kind of tell the guys that didn't have a dad in the house by the way they handle certain situations. It's like they handle it like a female would handle, you
Mm.
know. Uh,
Or don't handle it at all.
yeah, or get on the phone and gossip about, it,
Mm-hmm.
you
Don't
know.
handle it at all.
So, Cleo, you on here?
Yeah, man, I'm trying to get this Bluetooth popping. I don't know what the week is going on, bro.
Uh, but
Hold on. Give me a minute.
okay. But Jay, what you got?
Huh?
What you got? I mean, you know, you a preacher son too, so
No, I agree with everything y'all saying, man. I mean, even the cats who didn't have, I know in our era, even the cats who didn't have that two parent system, just by you being their friend and interacting with them and them coming into your home, they kind of what you got kind of rubbed off on them. And I know a lot of good cats, man. I know a lot of jacked up cats too, but at the end of the day, man, like I said, when it all comes down to it, man, you come into it. It's just like I was trying to explain to somebody. The childhood JoJo that I know, the childhood Joe Hollins that I know, is totally different than the adult Joe that I know. The adult Joe is the real Joe because Joe that came into his characteristics, Joe that came into himself. So you just kind of take it for what it is. I mean, you know, you kind of take people for where they at. Like I said, a lot of stuff. My daddy was in the home, but a lot of stuff I had to learn on my own. So it just depends on the person, bro.
The one thing I think that we have is that we had the common sense.
There you
When
go.
we did learn it on our own,
There you go.
we could pull back from some of the wisdom we was given and and navigate those things.
Yeah.
A lot of these young people don't have that common sense to navigate through things like we did.
Nah. Well, everything now is reality TV, reality. So they
Yeah.
think this stuff is real, man, and it's not how it is, man. It's not how it is.
But you know, another thing, I don't think people enjoy marriage or being in a relationship anymore with just each other. I mean, that's one of the like Cleo. Every time I look at Cleo and his wife is at a concert. You know,
Yeah.
which they go to every week, I think. But I mean,
Hey,
but
man.
but
It's
I
always
mean,
something going on in Dallas.
yeah. But that's what It's like no one appreciates a relationship no more. You know, after my divorce, I didn't want to be single. I kind of like being with somebody,
Right.
you know, but I had to find my friend. I had to find my equal.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I had to find that one that, you know, yeah, yeah, we can fuss. And yes, I get on her nerves. I was born that way. But this is somebody that I like to do stuff with. And I think that's the kind of things that need to be shown more. You
Yeah.
know, I don't think that, you know, that's why I kind of like that show Blackish. Family. It
Yeah.
was like things we saw growing up on TV from the Cosby Show to Family Matters, a family.
Mhm.
Nowadays, they don't want to show that because I don't know why or what's so taboo about a man and a woman in the house raising their kids together. What you think, Cleo?
I just think, man, that reality TV says otherwise. And unfortunately, and if my wife was sitting here, she would say the same thing. But the standards have changed, and this may ruffle some feathers, but I sleep next to a black woman every night. But the standards have changed a lot because of reality TV.
Yeah.
And my wife, she'll be the first to tell you. And the standard is so different today, man. It's like even when we were growing up, even if mom and dad weren't together, it was like their standards were still high. Even if they were single, their standard was still high. And it's like these young women today, the young ladies more so than say young ladies our age,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they look to. They want to be Kim Kardashian. They want to be Candy Burris and people like that. Well, I mean, that's not too high of a standard to shoot to.
Right.
When we were kids, Joe, you just mentioned the Cosby Show. Well, that's what we had, man. I mean, Claire Huxtable was an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Cliff Huxtable was a doctor. Even shows like A Different World, they were at an HBCU getting their college education. So we had certain things to aspire to. Like the main reason why I went to Southern University in Louisiana was because of a different world. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like times is so different. So in order for kids to learn today, especially because I have a daughter who's 16, in order for her to learn, she has to learn from my wife,
Mm-hmm.
or she has to learn just from the positive influences, whether it be church, uh, her grandmothers, her aunts, that type of stuff, man, because other than that, man, it's not really there. And it's not just the young ladies, it's us too. The young men, the ones that thrive are usually the ones that are growing up around men like us.
Mm-hmm.
Because it took a village, man. Like I was just telling somebody today, because they mess with me about my whole name Cleophas. And they was like, well, where you get that name from? But my pops, man, he has so much respect for my great uncle. That's who he named me after. A lot of sons get named after their pops. I didn't get
Mm-hmm.
named after my pop. My pops named me after my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
So we had men in our family that they took care of us, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like even if pops wasn't around or grandpa wasn't around, you had somebody that was there.
Mm-hmm.
They stood in the gap for you, man, because and they didn't even have to be like a Christian or nothing like that. It was just, I grew up in Murder One, man. So it was just like cats. It could be people in the hood. Uh, it could be friends' fathers or just somebody that you just knew. And back in the day, you knew how it was, man. You walked to 7-Eleven and they'd be like, hey, ain't you such and such boy? That made you want to just not do anything right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that day is gone, man. So black men, we really need to find a way to bring that back. It's gonna be hard, but it really starts and ends with us, and not just with our sons, but with our daughters too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Most of the young ladies that slip into promiscuity are typically young ladies that don't have their pops in their life. And that's a documented fact, man.
Yeah.
Like you could probably Google it right now and it'll pop right up.
But
So
now I'm gonna ask you this.
uh,
I'm gonna ask all you. Is this really our generation's fault of what's happening now? Because I look at it as the things that's going on now, we looked at as entertainment when we was younger in our generation, as in, Too Short, calling women bitches and all that, and
yeah.
Juvenile, when we was,
Mhm.
I worked at the club and had the girls going on stage, taking off
Oh yeah.
everything. Did we create what we are seeing now? Is this our Frankenstein?
I think our generation was the I ain't gonna say the catalyst, but we the ones that perpetuated it. I think
Yeah.
our parents was probably the catalyst because it wasn't our grandparents, but I
Mhm.
think our parents was the catalyst. And I think because you had, like I said, when we was growing up, we had friends of ours that was being raised by their grandparents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had fathers and mothers dropping off by the wayside for one reason or another when we were young. But I think our generation was the ones that perpetuated it further to where, we didn't follow through like we should have as parents to our children. You know what I'm saying? To teach them that right way. To stand in that gap, like Brother Cleo was saying, for our nephews and nieces and cousins and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? We were all focused on getting ours, and we perpetuated to a generation now that all they about is getting their bag. It ain't about family. It ain't about community. It ain't about, you know what I'm saying? It's so hard. Y'all know I coach, been coaching youth football for over 20 years. You know how hard it is to get a father to coach his own kid, where we had a whole organization full of coaches, and then none of us have no kids in the organization. All our kids have grown on and moved on, but we still coaching because we can't find good young brothers to take our place. You know what I'm saying? So we just still doing it to help the community. And you know, that's to me, that's sad. Because when we was growing up, you know, we had somebody that we knew daddy was the coach.
Right.
And that's why we didn't win that many games at Star Spencer.
We probably didn't win. We probably didn't win nothing, but we knew
we had too many
daddy
people.
was
Daddy as a coach. we didn't have no defensive back coach. We had
Right.
so daddy up the street.
Yeah.
That's why everybody was trying to play basketball, man.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's the reason why I didn't play football in high school, man. I was a sore loser then, man. I was like, man, I ain't, you know, I couldn't deal with the 1-11 and 1-12. I can do that.
Hey, that 1-11 came my year. So
I know. That's what I'm saying.
You know, I used to get I used to be so mad at the band. It's like we be sitting up there, the band would play the fight song when the other team would score.
Yeah.
So one
day, but they were scoring a lot.
Yeah, well, we was in Mr. Moon class, and I just happened to say that, and one of them smart ass girls said, "Well, if we was waiting on y'all to score a touchdown, we'll never play that song."
Oh my goodness.
I said, well, okay.
Oh man.
But
hey man.
But yeah. I understand what you're saying. You know, we was the catalyst. I guess you look at it as our parents after the civil rights movement, they got into the 70s and then the 80s, and shoot, once we was, I mean, because hey, that was the life. I'm talking about being a kid in the 70s and the 80s was
it was everything.
What's the 90s hit?
Yeah, we was. Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it was everything.
It was once the 90s hit. I mean, cause you know we looking at. Is there a dollar movie anymore?
No. Nope.
But
if it ain't one in OKC, it sure ain't one in Dallas. You know, so yeah. I mean, you know how it was, man. We go to the dollar movie, and the ones we used to go to for the most part was that one that was out there by Crossroads. And man, we sit at the dollar movie all day, man. We'd be there, we pay $1 and go see 3 movies.
We used to sneak in all them movies. You know,
but you know, we had each other, man. Like, you know, like I said, you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, everybody's talked about like where they grew up and stuff like that, you know, but you know, for me, it was just the camaraderie, you know, because, you know, I didn't get into the gang thing. You know what I'm saying? I was surrounded by that hood, and I embraced my hood. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I didn't get caught up into that. You know, in part because my mom was crazy. You know what I'm saying? She's slowing down now, but she's almost 73 years old. But man, when she was in her 30s and 40s, man, she wasn't having none of that.
Yeah, she had you on that piano.
Yeah, man. She had me on that piano, that mic, you know. That's what kept me out the street, man.
Yeah. And you know, I sit back and I think about, man, you know, growing up with so many of those guys from your neighborhood, Murder One, Dungy, and all that, you know, growing up with them, and the ones we lost. The biggest problem I got is these were guys who grew up together that was friends in elementary.
Yeah.
Because there's no way, because everybody that lived in, you know, Dungy went to Telstar first. They all went to Telstar.
Yep.
We all grew up together.
All of us, yeah.
Then a movie come out and tell us that we can't be friends.
We can't be friends, yeah.
And I you know,
or family.
It's so many guys that we lost, man, that they should still be here, man.
Yeah, dudes I love, man, to this. Me and my wife, man, I tell my wife about, you know, I ain't gonna say names, but you know, I tell my wife about, you know, some of the guys that literally just, I mean, they saved my life, man. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes not even knowing that they did. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, to have some of these guys like gone, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, Joe, that should still be here, man. I mean, I just think about, you know, like them innocent days when we was at Rogers Middle School, Green Pastures and places like that, man. I mean, we was just, I mean, we were just trying to play kickball every day.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, like you said, Joe, we get the movie. I don't know when Colors came out, man, but everything changed after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything changed after that.
87, 86.
87.
86, right. So late 80s, somewhere in there. But I mean, it was never the same after that, man. So
And all I remember from that movie, man, I wasn't even paying attention to the game bang. I just remember the butt naked girl on the porch.
right.
I didn't even.
Hey, I didn't either, man. It wasn't until like maybe a year and a half, 2 years later, where it really just started getting like, okay, what's this about, man? You know what I'm saying? Because I just respected the guys, you know, the friendship, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, guys that you play basketball with at the park prior to any of this stuff going on, you know.
Yeah.
So
Because your street
you know,
was hot, wasn't it?
man,
That
all the
street
time.
was boy.
All the time, man. You know, so it was always something going on.
But I look at us, you know, and people might laugh about it, but for real, we are survivors. We wasn't supposed to live past 24.
25.
Nah, man.
25
Nope.
was it?
25.
Yeah, we was
died
not
by
supposed
25.
to. That was it. We was, you know, you were supposed to die.
And
You
Joe,
know?
that was whether you was banging or not.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly. That was just living in the hood you was living in. You know, I didn't care if you lived in Dungy or Murder One or the Panic Zone or the Highlands. It didn't matter where you grew up. Even if you wasn't banging, like if you went to a party, even a house party, you know, house parties, that was our thing.
Yeah.
You know, like if you went to a house party, that was, I mean, like again, there was homeboys that would tell me, hey man, look,
It's finna pop off.
you might want to go home.
Yeah, it's finna pop
You
off.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And see, I appreciate that stuff now. Then I didn't really get it. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes the homeboy took over versus the rag they had in their pocket.
And, you know, and that's the respect they had for you,
Right.
because you know I done heard, you know, JoJo, you need to go ahead and go home, man. You know your daddy won't want you up in
I'm
here.
telling
You know,
man, your daddy was something else, man.
You know, it was, you know, for real, you know, but that was because I was friends with people from every side. I'm not gonna fake nothing, you know, just because you live over here and all that. We grew up together, you know, and that's just how it was with us, man.
It was, man.
And I say, man, and I don't know how we can get it back, you know. I know we was talking about because my brother was from Chicago. No, rest in peace, Joe Willie. And you know, if you look at the news all the time, it's somebody always getting killed in Chicago in certain areas. When do we get our kids out of those areas? When do we say, you know, even when we was young, the mama lived in the projects, the daughter lives in the projects. Now her daughter lives in the projects.
Mm-hmm.
When do we get our kids out of danger?
Well, I think that when we do, because I can use my family as an example. You know, my kids went to Spence Elementary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I had one that went to Rogers for 2 weeks, and then I had him transferred to Belle Isle. because Belle Isle was a top 5 school in the state. I wanted him a chance to get to go to college. The youngest one, he went to Rogers all 3 years because they was, 4 or 5 years later, and they supposed to be making this change on, the betterment of the kids. There was no change. When they finally got something going, they got rid of the principal and put in somebody that was worse. So, but then I transferred him to, when he went to high school, he went to a top 5 high school. So I had two. One, my oldest graduated from Carl Albert, and I took him from Spence Elementary straight to Carl Albert. And why you send him to the white school, blah, blah, blah. I said, because I want my kids to have an education. And then I send the other two across town so they can have a better education. But what they lost in the process was what y'all just got through talking about. They don't have those friendships. They don't have those relationships of any of the people they've grown up with that they can hold on to or cling to right now. Those white folks, white kids that they went to school with, they friends, but they not friends. You know what I'm saying? Right. They're not everyday brothers that they can count on, hang out with, none of that stuff. So I got, 3 loners. They rely on each other and then just they do their things. 3 of them, they grown now, with the exception of the one graduating this year. But they don't have no lifelong friends like that, like we grew up with, because we've known each other since kindergarten and all up, and went along with each other. And that's the one thing that was lost by trying to get our kids out of the hood. We lose those kind of things.
That's another thing, man, we need to get away from too, JoJo, is see, back in the day, you always heard, somebody leave the hood, they'll sell out. Well, some of the cats that was leaving the hood, them was the ones that was putting more money into their community than the people living in the community. You know what I'm saying? So Black people, especially us, man, Black people, man, we need to get away from that, man, because, us, the community needs to be the politicians. I think we get so wound up into who the president is, who the governor is, and all these. Man, we can run our own communities. Like, okay, prime example, man, if you come to where we stay in Dallas, and see, that's the thing, the mindset, it's just a mindset that needs to change for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, the community I live in, it's all Black, man. Like, I mean, we have white people in the neighborhood, but like when the police come over here, they don't discriminate because it's all Black people over here and everybody got the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody driving the same type of cars, living in the same type of houses, but it's a mentality. You know what I'm saying? So like, if we change our communities, even the police, and I know your pops was a cop, Joe, so the police, man, they respect the citizens in the community as long as the community is loving them back. You know what I'm saying? It's just like these people that think that all of us are against cops. Yeah, there's a lot of cops that I despise, bro. It's just what it is. But it just has everything to do with sometimes either where you grow up or just your experience. But for the most part, if you embrace your community the right way, these cops, man, my wife had to call the cop for something a couple of weeks ago. I don't even remember what it was, man. But man, these jokers showed up at the door in like 5 minutes. Yeah, man, that's because, and this is a Black community, bro. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's just a matter of where you live, how you embrace the blue in your community, because all of them ain't out to get us, man. Like one night I got home from work, man, and I don't know, maybe I guess I put the wrong code in the alarm or something like that. I don't even know. Man, I jump out the shower. The next thing I know, I see lights all around the house. And they just trying to make sure everything was good. And so I open the door. They looking at me like, "Do you live here? Do you live here?" They're not looking at me like, "Oh, is this this Negro, does this Negro live here? No, they was like, they just trying to find out if I live here. Like, I know it's black people live here, but does this black brother live here? You know what I'm saying? So they asked all these different questions. Then my wife, you know, she finally came out. No, everything's good, blah, blah, blah. But I'm telling you, man, it starts with the community. Like if the community is doing the right thing, the blue in the community will typically kind of gravitate to that. You know what I'm saying? And so, because I live in South Dallas, man, and you know, a lot of South Dallas a lot of it is predominantly black.
You don't stay in Oak Cliff, do you?
No, I don't stay in Oak Cliff. I'm probably about 10 miles south, though. Not that far from there.
Oh.
You know, so it's a lot of us out here. You know what I'm saying? But my point is, it's a mindset, man. And you mentioned getting out the projects. That starts with us too, man.
Yeah.
And if these people, you know, just keep the mentality, system. If that system stays, that's the same as a generational curse, man.
Mm-hmm.
Your daddy was a cheater, so you're a cheater. Your son's gonna be a cheater.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that type of stuff. Your daddy was an alcoholic. Your grandfather was an alcoholic, so you're gonna be. It's the same thing with poverty as a mindset, bro. It's there's some people that leave the hood. They could be sitting in a 7,000-8,000 square foot home, and their mindset is still poverty. Mm-hmm. Because it's just like that's all they've seen. Even if they've never been in poverty, the people around them have been in poverty. So it's just like, okay, well, I'm sitting around all this, but mentally they're still in poverty. We got to break that poverty mindset, bro.
Well, Jay, when you decided to move back, because Jay was what? You was in Virginia?
Yeah, I was in DC.
DC. Now, you know, because I've been to DC, Chocolate City. Chocolate City.
I'm a Redskins fan, man. So are you a Skins fan?
No, you're a Ravens fan.
Don't tell me you're a Cowboys fan.
You're a Raven fan.
Raven. Okay, cool. As long as you ain't no Cowboys fan, we good.
Get your mic.
Yeah, Ravens.
Okay, I'm good with the Ravens.
But Jay, now you came on back, man, and you know,
dude,
you did all your shows.
When I came back, man, I'm gonna tell you what I saw, man. I just saw a lot of people settling for just settling, man. And it was a turn off. It was a turn off, and it irked me because I'm like, we better than this. I'm looking at the areas that I grew up. No change, no new houses, no nothing. Just everything is the same. You see dispensaries all over the place.
All over the place.
Jet casting places all over the place. Mm-hmm. But you don't see no progress. Now, the city in general, oh, that shit is beautiful. What they doing to the city. But,
OKC, yeah, oh yeah.
But as far as Midwest City, Dale City, it's just, dude, it's almost like living in Ukraine some damn where. It's just,
yeah.
Just
you right, man.
It's crazy.
You right.
Same thing.
Mid-dub. I mean, you know, that's home, man. I got love, man, but they it's like they stuck in the time warp, man.
Mm-hmm. And you would think that Midwest City would, you know, this is where the base is. You would think that, you know, it's a damn shame you got to go to Norman or Edmond.
Don't get me wrong, that Midwest City, that Tinker right there, Air Depot, all that shit. Oh man, you get the bells, white lights, and whistles, but after you go over.
Once you go, once you go south of 29th, it all changes. Once you hit like Reno and Douglas and keep going south, you can forget about it.
Yeah, the same thing, man.
Same thing it was 40 years ago. Yeah.
And you know, we sitting up there, got a mall that's abandoned.
Oh my God.
Nobody's gonna do nothing to it, just gonna leave an abandoned building there, you know.
Well, you know, Iranian dude bought that building probably 15 years ago and tried to renovate it. This is back before was it Life Church went in. People's Church was already over on the other side, but it's back when we still had Sears and all that in it. The rest of the building, an Iranian dude owned it, actually bought it from the city. And he had to keep the lease with Sears, and he tried to improve on it. He wanted to improve one section at a time. Well, the roof was destroyed on it. The roof's horrible. So they told him, they kept blocking him from fixing the building because they were still, this is back when they were still in the early phases of getting 29th together, as far as all the businesses and stuff over there. They didn't want him to build up what he had till they finished that. So that is that he's the guy that owns that, the Iranian dude that owns that, he's been lost in red tape for the city. That's why they'll never get fixed, because they never give him the permits needed to fix the building in order to, because he was going to try and make it, he was going to put one section of it as apartments, one section with restaurants, one section with shops and stuff. He was going to split it up and do all kinds of stuff to it. But they wouldn't let him do nothing.
What, Harrisburg Mall?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But didn't the Mexican people buy Crossroads?
Yeah.
The Plaza Mayor.
But are they doing anything with that?
Not right now. They did. It's
that's a school in there, ain't it?
Well, yeah, Santa Fe South is in there now. They took a wing of it, and then there's another. They're finna do something else with it. So they finna start having concerts or something in there. They finna build it as a
event center.
Yeah, event center. Yeah. But the Santa Fe South took that whole back half of it, and they made it a high school, middle school. And
see, that's where you got to have visionaries, man, because I'm gonna tell you exactly because Crossroads, man, that was when we won that Heritage, we was at Crossroads.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big mall, man. That was a pretty big mall, for us growing up.
4 levels? Is it 4 levels?
Yeah, man. Yeah, something like that, 3 or 4, somewhere in there. But if that building was dropped in the middle of Dallas, I'm gonna tell you what it will be. They would turn it into an indoor outlet.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it takes the visionaries, man.
But if I don't know if y'all been to that, it's a mall in right outside of Houston, Greenpoint Mall, in like you going to Houston. It might be in Houston, and it has all little like mom and pop stores in there, but it stay packed.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, all you gotta do is put a shoe store in something. You're gonna get some big.
You already know. Yeah,
you don't get some big.
Yeah, flea market type stuff.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Our flea market is so boring now. It's nothing no more.
Man, and they used to. You talking about Old Paris?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Old Paris used to be popping like back in the day. That's where you saw everybody on the weekends, like Saturday, Sunday. That's where, man, my mom's we was there every weekend. Man, that's where I got a lot of my bootleg tapes, man. Right outside the flea market. Man, I had tapes, man. You didn't know who it was on the cover, but I had it.
That's where everybody got them damn T-shirts, them Nike shirts, them fake shirts. They just pretty Nike across that.
They still pack it.
They still pack it up. They still pack it up.
Still packed. You go up there on a Saturday or Sunday, it's still packed with no parking, no nothing. It's packed in there.
Are we up in there?
Yeah, we up in there, but we ain't up in there like the Hispanics are. Hispanics, I told you those communities still going strong because they still doing business. I'd tell you the truth. We too busy at dispensaries and 420 restaurants and all that stuff. We too busy doing all that stuff to be at the market. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the worst thing. I think they honestly. I know people like weed, but I have never been so tired of weed in my life. I mean, when you can smell weed on the highway, it's just bad. It's like
right down the road. That's a grow house.
Take your rock and throw it. And I
In
guarantee
any
you get a
direction,
damn dispensary, man.
any direction.
Like, they got a dispensary by the karate place now over there off of what's that, Sooner Road.
They everywhere.
I'm like, they
Man.
everywhere. And my thing is,
Who making money?
how
Yeah,
is
they
it
made
so
money.
easy to get a dispensary put up, but I can't get a shop put up for nothing? I can't get no money for a record label for nothing, but everybody can get some money to open a dispensary.
Yeah.
You know, for some reason though,
Man, I'm gonna tell you what's crazy, man. You mentioned that because they're not on every corner here in Dallas. So when we came up there for the spring game, and me and Reg, man, we was looking around like, man, bro, like on Lindsay, and I'm like, every 2 buildings. I was like, bro, come on, man. I was like, well, we know what the players doing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And the dispensary stay packed more than the grocery stores.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, so somebody making money.
Yeah, they making loot, man.
Yeah, because I'm like, how you know, well, let me shut up because I might be going a little bit too far, but somebody making money off of this and
yeah, they make some loot, man.
But again, I've never been so tired of smelling weed all my life, and we grew up in the '90s, so shoot, Snoop Dogg down. But
we made it popular.
Yeah, I'm like, God, no, I'm like, weed everywhere.
Yeah.
But hey, brothers, I want to thank y'all. This is the first one. This is the first. I'm gonna always have something for us every week, man. Try to get us on something on Sundays, man.
Let's get it.
And because this is just, we need this talk. Hopefully more guys come in. We need this man talk to understand, how we think. Because man, we just don't have that form for us. Somebody's always telling us how we should feel about something.
Right.
And I'm not built like that.
Nah, me either, man.
I'm not built like
that. I get sick of it, to be honest.
Huh?
I get sick of it, to be honest.
I'm not built like that, and sometimes we need to understand what other brothers think. Sometimes we gotta get put in check because of our ideas. I might have a caveman idea, and you might have to say, you know what, that's a problem. You can't go gorilla pimp your wife. You got to talk to her. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
so we need that. We need that kind of, that talk with each other, man, and everything. And hell, so I'm gonna let everybody say their last piece. Ronnie, I'm gonna start with you, Cleo, and then Jay, you gonna end it with something funny, I guess. Is Jay stuck?
I think he's frozen.
I don't know if he's frozen or that's just him.
He's frozen.
Yeah, it looks like he's frozen.
Jay. I need to drop that.
Is it?
Oh, there he goes. Okay, well, Ronnie and Cleo, you'll take us out, man.
Well, like I said, I appreciate the opportunity. It's always good to get with some, intelligent brothers and sit around and discuss topics. This is what's needed. It's not needed just with us. It's needed in the community. When we have intelligent conversation of back and forth banter with respect. And I appreciate you, brother, for creating the opportunity and creating the platform. And hopefully it's something that'll grow for, more men to have they say.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on that, man. Like, me and you, JoJo, we've been talking about this for a while. There's a lot of stuff we can get in on: sports, politics, spirituality, all kind of stuff. But counseling and stuff like that, it's real taboo in the Black community. I think it's just now kind of getting to a point, probably over the past maybe 5 to 10 years, where people are just a little bit more, our people are a little bit more open and honest and saying, you know what, I got some help for this. I think people got help for alcohol and drugs back in the day, but we talking marriages, we talking just everyday relationships. You might have something at your job that you stressed about. You know what I'm saying? Just anything. Like my wife, she says it all the time. That's why she cool with stuff like this, because she's like, man, she's like, you don't say everything that you need to say. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get to year 20, which is next year.
Mhm.
So there's certain things, man, I ain't gonna say, but I can speak to y'all about, you know what I'm saying? Because one thing is supportive as she is, she don't know what it's like to be a black man. You know what I'm saying? So, we need stuff like this, man, just real talk. So this is good, JoJo, man. This is the start of probably something big.
Well, it is, and like I said, man, you have to bring the right people to get this kind of thing going, because and you two have been day one since I met you. Never changed, always been the same, and you know, on this, like you said, we're gonna talk about sports and everything, because somebody in this room right now don't like the Sooners, so I ain't gonna say no names, but somebody don't like the Sooners, so we definitely gonna get into it about that. But
Oh
and
man.
also I want to do a show where we bring our wives on if we can, let them talk, and let us, chop it up as couples and everything. Uh,
No doubt.
you know, because your wife Cleo, she seems like she old school.
She old
She
school,
old
man.
school. She
Plus,
old school.
she from the
And
Big Easy, man. So
oh, see,
she's them New
see.
Orleans, man. They don't play around with stuff.
Oh yeah, so okay, boy, and then I know Shalay. I mean, I'm trying to get I'm trying to get some another just a banana pudding or something around that. She cooking, but Ronnie won't tell nobody nothing.
Well, we're gonna wait until after she get through with her masters. When she get through with her masters, then she can get back to cooking again.
Oh, see, well, you don't know how you don't know. Well, no, I ain't even going to bother with you. But
You
but
see, I
brother,
lost 75 pounds. You see that she ain't cooking no more.
yeah. Well, boy, I don't know how you do it. Well, yeah, well, but I thank y'all, man. I appreciate it, and we're gonna do this again, man.
No doubt.
So, I'll send y'all a link that it's on for YouTube. It's so y'all gonna be stars. You know what I'm saying. So, uh, so next Sunday,
Let's get it.
8
Yeah,
o'clock. All right.
sounds
All right
good.
now.
Peace. Take care.
All right.